Tuesday afternoon from Phoenix, Arizona. We welcome you to the desert where today the Houston Astros wrap up their 3-city, 8-game road trip. The Astros still with Major League Baseball's best record on the road, but this has not been a good trip for the Houston Astros. They are just 1-6, their first losing trip of the season as they play today in Chase Field. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another afternoon of Astros baseball. Todd Cowles alongside Jeff Plum. And Plummer, this has not been a good road trip. We've seen a lot of good ones this year. It'll be good to wrap this up if they can get a win.
Who would have thought, after the way this year has gone, that we'd be happy to get on a plane going back to Houston? Not that we don't like Houston, but they played so well except for this trip.
Really, it's been a combination of things, but the offense, which has been so good all year on the road, not so much lately.
Yeah, it's been a scuffle. Those previous 25, you see, putting up 6.5 runs. And remember that they lost Correa and Springer right around the same time. Springer working his way back into this lineup. And again, it's more like a rehab assignment for him here in the big league. So it's going to be a tough go, but a lot of guys with fatigue and stress kicking in right here.
Well, Dallas Keuchel with a big win for the Astros in that final game of the series against the Rangers. And today, the Astros have Brad Peacock on the mound. He's been as good as anybody all year.
He has been phenomenal. We've seen a couple of back-to-back good starts, but it's good to see Brad Peacock taking that good stuff out there. That last time out against the Chicago White Sox, did a very good job. Kept the ball in the ballpark after Toronto took him deep 3 times. But this is definitely a guy the Astros are looking forward to see consistently on that mound. If he can be the Brad Peacock we've seen all year, it should be a pretty good ball game as far as keeping the Astros in the game.
Peacock going tonight, or this afternoon, looking to match what he did in his last start where he allowed just 1 run in that start earlier on this road trip. He'll be opposed by the left-hander out of Sinton, Texas, 24-year-old Anthony Banda. We will have Peacock versus Banda as our matchup today. When we come back, Julian Morales will join us and she'll update us along with Jeff Plum on Carlos Correa as he tries to return to the Astros lineup.
Baseball coming to you from Phoenix. The Astros trying to grab a win here before heading back to Houston. It's been a tough road trip, and they ran into a really tough pitcher last night, Zach Greinke. This team trying to get healthy. This lineup surely can get it done, but with full health, they know they'll be right back on track as we've seen them all season long. They're missing a key piece in Carlos Correa, but the news has been really good as he's working his way back from having his left thumb surgically repaired, the ligament in there. Tomorrow marks 4 weeks since that surgery. Yesterday was a big day for him as far as taking the grounders and hitting off the tee. Today, getting some more work out there, taking some more ground balls, throwing across the diamond. He says he feels good. This is a good progression. And like I said, 4 weeks tomorrow. He keeps telling us that he is ahead of schedule, which is good. Tomorrow will be an off day for Correa. And next for him, he'll be hitting flips as well as taking batting practice. So that is what's next. Our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight, Jeff Blum, is going to help me out with. Today, he'll be in the booth with Todd Callis. But Blummer, as a player and as someone that's been in the clubhouse, when you know a guy like Correa who may be ahead of schedule and is coming back, what is that like?
It's a great feeling, and Carlos Correa is probably the one guy that's going to be fighting to get back in that lineup, but we know that he is progressing well, like you just said. But as far as a mentality for a team, it means the world. Obviously, Carlos Correa is a much better guy in that 4 spot for the Houston Astros, and he is a cheerleader. He's doing the best he can right now, and just the presence of him being around has got to give these guys hope. But as you watch these highlights, you can see what he's done the last 60 games before he got hurt, putting up unbelievable numbers. But it's one thing to lose a guy like George Springer at the top of your lineup. Then you add in Carlos Correa, who is in the middle part of your lineup. These are 2 guys that are catalysts in that lineup for the Houston Astros, whether they get on base or create issues for starting pitchers having to pitch around them, getting on base, and then having to face the guy behind them. Because we know when they are at full strength, they've got 12 guys that would be starters on other teams, and depth is a big key for the Houston Astros.
Great insight from you, Blummer. As always, we'll see you shortly with Todd Callis up in the booth as first pitch is coming up from here in Phoenix. Let's get a win. Let's wrap up this road trip. We'll be right back after this.
Back to Chase Field in Phoenix, where the Astros and the Diamondbacks play Game 2 of this home-and-home 4-game series. The Diamondbacks shutting out the Astros last night 2-0. The Astros now 1-6 on this 8-game road trip, their first losing road trip of the season. Today they will try and bounce back with this starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. At the very top will be George Springer playing in right field. Alex Bregman is the shortstop. Jose Altuve is the second baseman. Yuli Gurriel will be the cleanup hitter. Josh Reddick plays left field today. J.D. Davis has started third base. Max Stassi, the 26-year-old, makes his first start of the season at the big league level. Jake Marisnick is in center field. And Brad Peacock on the mound hitting number 9.
On the mound, left-hander Anthony Bonda will be going for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He has been their #1 prospect to begin this season, according to the MLB pipeline. He's 7-6 in 19 starts in AAA. He's only made a couple of starts here in the big leagues. He does have 1 win in 3 starts. Beat Madison Bumgarner, going 6 innings against the San Francisco Giants and giving up 1 earned run.
He's excited about pitching against these Houston Astros. A kid from Sinton, Texas. Went to San Jacinto. And he said he's going to expect to see a lot of friends and family members when the Diamondbacks head to Houston after this game. Excited to pitch against the team he watched growing up. He's ahead of George Springer, 0-2.
Good velocity on that fastball. Loves to throw it. 95 on that last pitch.
Inside to Springer, it's 2-2. George, after missing 13 games on the DL with that quad injury, coming back on this road trip. Hit a home run in Texas, his 28th of the year. And he drills one to left field, and a diving effort and a catch made. Chris Herman in left field, starting this game with an outstanding defensive play.
Well, I tell you what, you can tell by the look on George's face that that's just how it's going for the Houston Astros. Even when they do square it up, it doesn't result in that base hit or extra base hits. Good jump by Herman, making a nice leaping grab.
Saw a lot of defense turned in last night on the Astros side, and now Chris Herman starts off the game with a nice diving catch.
Good look at that grab on our Mattress Firm Supermo, robbing George Springer of possible extra bases.
1-1 to count to Alex Bregman. Alex, after a 14-game hitting streak, has now gone 2 games without a hit in the middle of an 0-for-8 right now. And he sends one into shallow center. This is another long run. This one's going to fall in there. Bregman finds some open space in shallow center field in front of A.J. Pollock and Alex on. So that's kind of the luck of the draw. Springer hits one 100 miles an hour plus. In fact, George is yelling a little bit from the dugout saying, "What happened? I hit a bullet and you end up with a base hit."
You should be saying you're welcome. Got that line drive out of the way and allowed him to get that drop shot, and everybody needs a hug right now. Why not?
George was screaming at Bregman after that hit.
And Bregman looked at him and said, "That's how you do it. That's your bad."
I found the right spot, George. You didn't. We'll have to compare exit velocities on those first 2 hits, because George is definitely a lot higher than Bregman.
Yeah, that's Springer just saying, "Yep, that's how it's going right now." Hasn't been easy for him coming back off that DL stint, trying to get back in the swing of things. Pardon the pun.
Jose Altuve had a very unusual night last night.
How unusual was it, Todd?
We did have a base hit, Blummer. Thanks. Appreciate that. He did have a base hit. That part wasn't unusual.
Yep.
The fact that he struck out 3 times prior to that against one pitcher. It had only happened one other time in his career where a single pitcher struck him out 3 times in a game. And that guy threw a perfect game, Matt Cain.
Glad that didn't have the same result.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Zach Greinke getting him 3 times last night. Got to the point where Jose ran out to the field with the wrong glove and hat.
Discombobulated.
He still was having fun with it, although I'm sure those first 3 strikeouts had him scratching his head a little bit, especially against the guy he had some success prior to that. He was 9 for 18 against Greinke before last night's game. 2-2 the count.
In that game that Bonda beat the San Francisco Giants, he actually walked 4 hitters in that ball game, still being able to go 6 innings. Punched out 7 in that game too.
Gets ahead of Altuve 0-2, and now it is a full count. Yuli Gurriel waits on deck. Altuve still with that .417 road batting average. Major League best batting average overall, .361. Honda will go with the changeup as his main secondary pitch to right-hand hitters, which you just saw. And the curveball is his main secondary pitch to lefties.
I feel like Altuve sometimes gets in trouble because he wants to get a hit every time he's up there, so he will sometimes expand the zone a little bit, trying to get those hits as opposed to taking that ball forward and getting on base.
Altuve strikes out on a foul tip. 4 strikeouts in this series for Altuve, and there's 2 away.
I think we have a pretty good idea what the Diamondbacks are trying to do with Altuve. According to our MD Anderson strike zone, a lot of pitches on that outside corner and off the plate. We saw him chasing Zach Greinke's slider early in yesterday's ball game. Here early today, chasing the fastball away.
Gurriel into right center field. Drifting back is Pollock, and A.J. puts it away for the final out. So 1 hit, 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 3rd.
Fans, turn your attention to DB.
Astros and Diamondbacks scoreless. Final game of this road trip. Second game of this 2-game series at Chase Field. And here's how Torey Lovullo will line things up for the Diamondbacks on this Tuesday afternoon. Ketel Marte will lead things off today, followed by A.J. Pollock, Jake Lamb, and Paul Goldschmidt. A dangerous 3-4 combo. J.D. Martinez in right field. Chris Iannetta behind the plate. Brandon Drury is the second baseman. Chris Herman in left. And Anthony Banda will be the pitcher.
Right-hander Brad Peacock going for your Houston Astros. He has made 13 starts this season with a 7-1 record and a 3.46 ERA, pitching extremely well. He is 10-3. The Astros are 10-3 in his starts in those 13 games.
For the first time all year with that pitch, Brad Peacock now has more starts than relief appearances. Today making his 14th start after 13 appearances out of the bullpen, most early in the season. And he starts Marte off with 2 quick strikes. Peacock in 7 of his last 9 outings allowing 1 run or fewer. He has been as good as it gets lately in the Astros rotation. Pitch misses outside. It's 1-2.
He is tied for the team lead in wins with 10. And it's only because Dallas Keuchel won his last outing.
That's right. Dallas started the year with a 9-0 mark. Then went on the DL, came back and saw his winning streak snapped, lost a couple in a row before winning Sunday against the Rangers. Off the glove of Peacock, and he is there to recover and make the play. Peacock had to get out of the way of that sharply hit ground ball and still was able to make the play.
couple of guys back there. I don't know if it was hit hard enough to sneak in between, but good play by Brad Peacock, taking care of it himself. Luckily got him in the glove.
Here's A.J. Pollock. Diamondbacks with the win yesterday. Improved their interleague mark to 10-1 on the season. Astros were the first team ever in interleague play to start 9-0, but they've now lost back-to-back interleague games. Final game in Philadelphia on the last road trip, and the first game here in Arizona. Pitch misses inside to Pollock, who's having a 2-for-24 homestand. Inside is 2-0. Peacock last faced the Diamondbacks in the 2014 season, pitching in this stadium on June 10th. Ball hooked into the crowd. It's 2-1.
Coming in hot.
And a broken bat for Pollock. Diamondbacks with the win, maintaining their tie with Colorado for the first spot in the wild card. They are still a healthy 17.5 games behind the LA Dodgers in the NL West. Astros, despite this road trip of 1-6, still with the best overall road record on the season. But they have seen their pace for 100+ wins diminish on this road trip. They had been on pace for 100 wins or more from game 11 all the way through until Saturday's loss in Texas. 2-2 the count to Pollock. On the ground, into the shift. The man in the middle of the shift is Alex Bregman, who makes the play. A couple of ground balls for Brad Peacock, and 2 outs in the bottom of the first.
Look at the wild card picture between the American League and National League. The National League West is playing very good baseball. The Rockies and Diamondbacks qualifying for that 1-2. But it's pretty incredible as well as they're playing. They are wild card contenders with the Dodgers running away with it. A little bit of a difference in records between the American League and the National League teams vying for that wild card spot.
Cardinals would be the second wild card team in the American League with that record. Instead, they're 5 games back. Here's Jake Lamb with 2 outs and nobody on. The thing that would have you a little concerned if you're a Diamondbacks or a Rockies fan is you have a lot of games within your division late in the schedule. It means a lot of games against the Dodgers and against either the Diamondbacks or the Rockies, depending on your perspective. Although the same thing can be said with Milwaukee playing well in the Cardinals division. You've got the Cardinals and the Cubs and the Brewers all at the top of the NL Central. But this NL West has been by far the best all year. It is the division of haves and have-nots. Padres and the Giants have really had tough years.
Oof. Yeah, they've been the recipients of a lot of those wins for these 3 teams at the top of the National League West.
The Giants are a full 37.5 games back.
Have they been eliminated yet?
They're close. 118 games in, so they only have 44 left. And they're 37.5 back. There's a called third strike on the 2-2 pitch by Peacock. Brad Peacock, a 1-2-3, bottom of the first. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Astros Diamondbacks. Day game after a night game. That will be the case in Houston as well. Wednesday will be a night game followed by an afternoon contest on Thursday. Scoreless. Christian is in town. Day 2 is underway. Looking for a victory. A lot of Astros fans here in Phoenix for this series. The Astros fans have been traveling well in 2017. And other years, but especially this year, it seems like orange shirts everywhere. Josh Reddick will lead things off. 5, 6, 7 in the Astros lineup. Reddick, J.D. Davis, and Max Stassi getting his first big league at bat of 2017 this inning. Facing the 24-year-old Anthony Banda, who delivers a strike to Reddick. Josh, like the team, has not had the best road trip. Just 2 for 24 on this trip for Reddick. Did have a hit and a walk in last night's game and made a couple of good defensive plays. Cued off the end of the bat towards the Diamondbacks dugout. It's 1-2. Banda just turned 24 in his last start. His birthday was the 10th of August. As he strikes out Josh Reddick for his second strikeout in the first out of the second.
Third baseman, number 28.
Pitched Thursday against the Dodgers on his birthday. Went 4 innings in that start. Was lifted after 4 with 69 pitches and 3 runs allowed. Here's J.D. Davis. J.D. with a couple of RBIs in his last start Saturday. Fouls one back. It's 0-1. First 2 big league RBIs for the young third baseman. Banda ahead 0-2. Anthony Banda was Arizona's pitcher of the year last year in the minor leagues. Split time between AA Mobile and AAA Reno. Also pitched in the Futures game last year. One and 2 the count to J.D. Davis. Counts 2-2. Diamondbacks originally wanted this guy out of high school. Up about 3.5 hours southwest of Houston in a small town called Sinton. But he didn't sign coming out of high school. Ended up going to college. Brewers signed him, and then he was acquired in a deadline deal from the Brewers a few years ago, where Gerardo Parra went from the Diamondbacks to Milwaukee. Hit well to right field, and this ball is over the head of J.D. Martinez and into second base. One J.D. hits the ball over the head of another as Davis with a double to right field.
There's a good sign. J.D. Davis getting the barrel on it, going the other way. Pretty good pitch to hit. Right down the middle. Does a good job of staying on it. Some late life here in Arizona. Shoots that ball over J.D. Martinez's head. J.D. Martinez didn't get the best jump off the bat.
Oh, double for Davis. And that'll bring up Max Stassi getting his first at bat of the season. Stassi just called up from AAA yesterday when Brian McCann went on the DL. Max was batting .266 with the Fresno Grizzlies, including a dozen home runs and 33 RBIs. Seen Max up here at the big league level every season since 2013. Total of 30 games during that stretch. .291 average in those 30 games with a home run and 7 RBIs.
Good receiver. Wasn't exceptional with the bat last year, but putting up pretty good numbers this year in Fresno. With the injuries, him and Centeno here.
Stassi starting against the lefty today after Centeno started against the righty Zach Greinke yesterday. AJ said that's not exactly how he's going to platoon them lefty righty, but it worked out in this series. Astros will see a righty tomorrow night and then a lefty Thursday afternoon. A high strike. It's 2-2 to Stassi.
Stassi was hitting .266 in Fresno with 12 bombs.
He was a PCL All-Star this year. AJ pleased to have that kind of depth at the catching position with Centeno and Stassi, both big leaguers since 2013, replacing Evan Gattis and Brian McCann respectively. Base hit down the left field line. Astros take the first lead. Max Stassi's first at bat of 2017, and he has himself an RBI double.
And immediately becomes the best hitter on the Astros team, now hitting 1,000. Vaulting to the top of that batting average chart. But it's good to see the Astros getting on the board early. Brad Peacock has been the beneficiary of a lot of runs this season, and Stassi helping out his battery mate with a big double right here to trade places with J.D. Davis.
Back-to-back doubles. That's how the Diamondbacks scored their first run in last night's game, and that's how the Astros get on the board this afternoon. Here's Jake Marisnick. Jake coming in with a .241 batting average. Something about guys coming up from Fresno and contributing right away. We've seen it a number of times this year.
They're kind of curious to see how many times J.D. Davis and Max Stassi have seen Anthony Bonda in that PCL.
Reno versus Fresno matchups. 0-1 pitch is down low. It's 1-1.
Derek could be the last 3 guys are from California.
That too.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, a lot of combinations. 1-1 to Jake. In the air, shallow right. This ball is going to fall for a hit. Stassi will stop at third. Marisnick a little flare to right for a base hit. 3 consecutive hits for the Astros. And now runners on first and third with 1 out.
Keep that line moving.
Number 41.
No matter how you do it, find a way to get on and keep those guys coming to the plate. Change up, tailing down and away, and Jake got ahead of it, nubbed it off the end of the bat. Tough as an outfielder to read the swing.
Well, there have been a lot of firsts already this year for Brad Peacock as a hitter. He had his first hit. He also drew his first walk. And now he has a chance for his first RBI. Scored his first run, being chased home by George Springer in that game in Atlanta. Colin McHugh had the tough task of facing Zach Greinke righty on righty. Peacock facing the left-hander in this situation. We saw Peacock make a lot of contact in his at-bats.
This is that first and third situation where if he lays down a pretty good bunt, I don't know with Max Stassi at third base if that's going to be an option as far as the safety squeeze. If you have a little bit faster runner, it's a good situation. But I think the intent here is just to put Jake in scoring position for George.
His one and only sack bunt came in May of 2013.
Probably doesn't even remember it.
He's around to bunt. Goldschmidt crashes at first, and he bunts through it, and it's 0-2. Well, he hasn't looked very proficient at the bunt. He did make some contact in that series in Atlanta. See if he can swing away here. 1 for 4 this year with a walk and a run scored. Breaking ball called, 3rd strike. A Peacock down looking. 3rd strikeout for Banda.
Join the Astros for movie night this Thursday. Fans can stay after the early game and watch The Sandlot on El Grande. And even watch the movie from the field by getting a VIP package. Visit Astros.com/movie night for more info.
So now with 2 outs, it's up to George Springer at the top of the lineup. George hit a ball his first time up 107.7 miles per hour for an out. He followed that line drive up by watching Alex Bregman hit one 38 miles an hour slower for a base hit to center.
I don't think that's going to keep George from swinging hard.
No. I don't think George knows how to swing anything but out of his shoes. He does not get cheated at the plate.
Baseball's a fun game. You can do everything right and have nothing to show for it.
There's a line drive, base hit into right center field, heading all the way to the wall. Marisnick flying around the bases. He's being sent home. Jake will score. It is 3-0 Astros on the 2 RBI double by George Springer.
It's got to feel good for George. Not only did he square up 2 baseballs in his first 2 ABs in this game, he comes up clutch with a 2-out RBI base hit going the other way. That is exactly what you do on a changeup. You can see that little hesitation in the swing where his eyes recognize and his hands are back in a good position to fire it. When he's ready to go, he unleashes it. Also nice having your buddy Jake on first base. He can run a little bit.
Jake was going so fast he had to stutter step just to touch second base, and then he was flying from there.
Easy read for Stassi, but Jake with 2 outs knows he's going to put that head down. Can glide in the last 90 feet.
That's a big 2-out, 2 RBI double as Max Stassi scores a run and drives in a run in his first game. And now Alex Bregman, the hitter. Alex with that base hit, now hitting in 15 of 17 games. And he sends a line drive down the right field line. Fair ball. Springer can walk home. Bregman thinking about 3. J.D. Martinez gets the ball back in. A triple for Alex Bregman. And the Astros lead this game 4-0.
Game plan is for Alex Bregman, I think, is to let that ball get deep. Fluke base hit. First AB in this one, he lets that ball travel, keeps his nose down on it, shoots it the other way into that right field corner. Kind of inside out of that one. And then it's off the races.
5th triple for Alex Bregman. Team lead in that category as Jose Altuve takes a called strike. Bregman now tied for 3rd in the American League with those 5 triples. One and 1 the count to Jose Altuve. When you talk about Bregman letting the ball travel like that and letting the ball get deep, is that just a guy who's very confident at the plate right now?
Well, he had that extensive hitting streak go for quite a while. And we saw it broken up. But yeah, you know, when guys start to stress a little bit or they want to get their swing back, they always talk about letting the ball travel and thinking about that opposite field gap. So that may be something that Alex Bregman has been working on as far as letting the ball travel.
See opposite field gapper for George Springer, and then an opposite field triple. Springer's was in the right center field gap. Bregman's was right down the line. 1-2 pitch bounces past the catcher, and scoring is Bregman. 5-0 Houston on the wild pitch. Ball almost hit Altuve, and the wild pitch allows a run to score.
That's what you want to see in that Astros dugout if you're a fan at home, is to see that joy return, and it's really happening right now with the way they're swinging the bats.
4 of the 5 runs scoring with 2 outs in the inning. This is an Astros team that had scored just 17 runs in the first 7 games of this trip. Altuve keeps things rolling. He has himself a base hit into right center field. Astros with 6 hits of the last 7 hitters, only a Peacock strikeout in between. And they will send their 9th man to the plate in the inning.
This is good to see. It's fun to watch. Baseball's a tough game. And what we saw for the first 4 months from the Astros offense was historic, epic, whatever you want to call it. So there was going to be a little bit of a slump. But you're just hoping, if you're at home watching, that this is a sign of things turning around a little bit and then becoming that consistently good offense again.
Well, you can't average 7 runs a game. I know I kept saying that, but you can't.
You're breaking my heart, man.
It just doesn't happen unless you're a team from the 30s.
But when you watch a team do it for 4 months, you get spoiled and almost brainwashed into the fact that they can. That's what was crazy.
A.J. Hinch was watching historic things from his offense for the first 100 games plus. They've regressed to the mean a little bit during this road trip. Now averaging 6.37 runs per game with the 17-run 7-game trip before today. But in this inning, 3 doubles, a triple, a couple of singles. And Yuli Gurriel with a count of 1-1. Springer the big hit in this inning after Brad Peacock struck out with runners on the corner. Springer coming through with a 2-out double. 2 more runs have crossed sense, and now a 2-1 count to Gurriel. It's been a tough inning for the kid out of San Jacinto, Anthony Banda. Three and 1 to count. Josh Reddick, who started this inning, may get a second at bat in the second. In the air to center field. Pollock will get there and put it away for the final out.
The offense broke out. It started with J.D. Davis hitting that double the other way. Followed up by Max Stassi trading places, driving in J.D. Davis, and the big hit in the inning with George Springer with some 2-out lightning with the opposite field double, scoring a couple of runs. Alex Bregman added a triple and another RBI, making that score. And what you see it is right there, 5-0 Stros.
Bottom two, 5-0 Astros. Brad Peacock looking for his 11th win, 8 straight, facing a Paul Goldschmidt, tough righty there. And this matchup today against the D-backs lineup bodes well for him, especially against right-handed hitters with his high fastball and slider combo. He's got a couple of ways to get hitters out today. Probably won't be using the changeup as much, but if he has the fastball slider, he should be good to go, guys.
Slider has been used at a higher percentage this year than ever, and as the season has progressed, each month using it at a higher percentage. It was a good pitch in the past. It's become his bread and butter pitch this year. 0-2 to Paul Goldschmidt, and that pitch misses outside for a ball. It's 1-2. He's gotten a chase on that slider of 37% on the season. Does not get a chase there from Goldschmidt. It's 2-2. Goldschmidt continues to have huge numbers. Leads the team in pretty much every category, hitting .371 his last 20 games. Colin McHugh pitched him tough early in the game, getting a couple of strikeouts, and then Goldschmidt got him for a double his last time up. Swing and a foul tip caught by Stassi, and a strikeout for Brad Peacock, getting Goldschmidt for the first out of the second.
Right fielder, number 28, J.D.
5-0 Astros with a 5-run top of the second inning. Is that just a rumor that Brad Peacock called a team meeting after he only got 2 runs of support in his last start?
He was upset. And Brad Peacock is not a shy guy. He shows his emotion.
You look at Peacock's road starts.
Look at him.
At Atlanta, with his last interleague start, 16 runs. At Toronto, this is all in July, 19 runs. In Philadelphia, 13 runs. And in his last road start in this road trip, only had 2 runs.
Yeah.
So today he's got 5 to work with after 2 innings. He feels more in his zone.
Well, that's when he showed up and wrote team meeting on the whiteboard. We're kidding.
We are kidding. He's averaging 10 runs of support this year. 10
Yes.
runs. That's not, we're not kidding about that. This is a nice offense. We've talked about it all year. It's been a record-setting offense, but no one's had more support than Brad Peacock. That was an uncomfortable-looking swing as J.D. Martinez was committed and then knew he couldn't get to that pitch. It's 1-2.
What's great about that slider is that it comes in and it looks like it's going to be on that lower outer corner. And you see J.D. Davis going out to attack it. Once he recognizes spin, can't hold up the swing.
2-2 the count. See the expansive outfield here at Chase Field. We saw a lot of singles turn into doubles yesterday as the Diamondbacks were really hustling out of the box. Ended up with 6 doubles in that game. Now it's 3-2. High fly ball into right field. Plenty of time for Springer to move in. Georgie played center last night, making the play in right for out number 2. Join the Astros for Dollar Dog Night. Enjoy all the dollar dogs you can eat while watching the Astros and Diamondbacks tomorrow. For tickets, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Both teams heading from Phoenix to Houston after the game. The Astros will be wearing their normal attire. The Diamondbacks will be wearing NASA-themed attire. NASA shirts and astronaut outfits will be the order for the Diamondbacks. Archie Bradley, who we saw pitch last night, came up with the idea for the theme trip. And the Diamondbacks will all be dressing in honor of heading to Houston Space Center, Johnson Space Center, and NASA down there. So they'll be ready for that series tomorrow. Just like here, day game after a night game. Same thing in Houston with a day game Thursday after the night game tomorrow.
They would show me something if, as a team, they took the Vomit Comet from Phoenix into Houston. That plane they used to simulate zero gravity by doing basically a roller coaster ride on the way out there. That'd be fun for those guys to enjoy.
That would be amazing. I would love to try that. You get kind
After
of
you're
floating up
grasshoppers?
there. You're floating for a few seconds. Yeah, after grasshoppers. 3-1 to count to Chris Iannetta.
Nothing about that entertains me.
Really?
Oh,
Zero gravity?
getting up into space would entertain me.
Okay.
Going up and down at drastic velocities and altitude changes, I'll pass.
You're good. Pass on the grasshoppers, too.
Yeah. I'm not a very adventurous guy.
3-1 the count, 2 outs, bases empty. Peacock behind a hitter for one of the rare times, and he gets a foul at the plate. It's 3-2. One of the unique features here at Chase Field is there's a little runway between the pitcher's mound and home plate. That doesn't feel good for anybody, especially a catcher who takes enough things during the course of the game.
Speaking of space outfits, what do you got on these uniforms? Talk about it later.
Called third strike to end the second inning. Brad Peacock has retired all 6 he's faced, including 3 strikeouts.
Third, 5-0 Astros lead it. It's time to take a look at our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure you're following us at ATT Sportsnet SW. That way you can vote in our poll. And today, since we're in a National League ballpark, we're asking who your National League MVP would be. Charlie Blackmon, the Rockies, Bryce Harper, Paul Goldschmidt, or Giancarlo Stanton. It's an interesting one. Todd?
Yeah, some good choices. Harper with the injury is going to be tough. Giancarlo just set a Marlins record with his 43rd home run last night.
It's an interesting mix of guys that are having great years.
Josh Reddick swings at the first pitch, pops it up, shallow center. So shallow that Ketel Marte, the shortstop, makes the play for out number 1. Josh now 0-2. Getting back to your question at the end of the second inning about the unis, I kind of like the unis.
They're growing on me a little bit. The home unis are much better for me than the road. I'm not a big fan of that gray. I'm not even sure what kind of gray it is.
They have a lot of unis.
Yeah, they are the Oregon Ducks of Major League Baseball.
Here's J.D. Davis. He got things going in that second inning with a double. First of 6 hits for the Astros in the second inning. J.D. now 3 for 14 on the season. Fouls one back. It's 0-2.
Oh, grounds crew rocking the space helmets, space unis. That's the one we're talking about. Mike Acosta, if you're watching him, which I'm sure he probably is. Although I'm not going to drag the field in that helmet. I'm going to be up here talking some baseball.
We'll see if the Diamondbacks find a helmet to wear.
Earthmen in action. I like it.
8th wonder of the world. Inside to JD, and that clips his foot. JD Davis with a 1-2 count, hit by a pitch on the breaking ball. We saw Bonda miss inside to Altuve and almost hit him. It went for a wild pitch and scored a run, and now he hits JD Davis as Bonda was ahead of the count.
And it's with that slider breaking down and in. Good look at it on our Supermo. Catching that front shin guard.
The pitch he really didn't have consistency with last year. Said it was more of a field pitch that he was getting more comfortable with. He's thrown a couple down and into right-hand hitters. Max Stassi fouls one off. It's 0-1.
Interesting note on Bonda is that he did face the Fresno Grizzlies twice this year. Went 2 2/3 innings the first time, 4 innings the next time. I'd like to say thank you to Paul Braverman, the media relations guy for the Fresno Grizzlies, for passing on that information.
Well, JD was at Corpus a lot and then the last 16 games at Fresno, but Max Stassi certainly would have seen him, you would think, in one of those games. Stassi with an RBI double his first time up. As he fouls one back. Still 0-2. Bonda getting a shot in the rotation now. Robbie Ray working his way back after a scary moment. Hit by a line drive. Ray make a rehab start this week. Astros will not see him in this series, but good news that Robbie Ray is on the mend back. 0-2 pitch misses. It's 1-2. Stassi with the playbook on his left arm. 26-year-old. That was his 8th big league RBI with that double his first time up. This one into right field. Martinez will drift towards the corner. JD gets there to make the play. And look at JD Davis taking advantage, watching the outfielder drift back on that fly ball, and the rookie gets 90 feet, tagging from first to second.
Take advantage of 90 feet. Good job by JD, turning around, watching the play, recognizing and taking advantage of JD Martinez not getting behind that baseball into good throwing position.
I really like that play.
Well, you know what's great is he turned around, took a peek, and saw that he was going to make the play. Goes back to the bag, and I'm sure it was an aggressive start, but recognizing that JD Martinez was kind of drifting back towards the wall, he just kept going.
We saw the Diamondbacks play very aggressive baseball yesterday, turning a number of singles into doubles. And now JD with that extra 90 feet, he's going to create an intentional walk here for Jake Marisnick, which is fine because now if Brad Peacock's not able to keep the inning going, you get your pitcher out of the way. He's not leading off the next inning. That extra 90 feet that JD Davis takes resulted in an intentional walk. And Peacock does have a hit this year. He was asked to bunt his last time up. Did not look good bunting. We'll see if he looks better swinging the bat in this at bat. Takes a pitch down and away. 1-0.
I think a good approach for pitchers is take it until you get a strike. Then throw it out there and see what happens.
There's a line drive down the right field line. Base hit headed towards the corner. Peacock with his first Major League RBI. Might have two. Here comes Jake. Head first line. Safe. And the Astros lead 7-0 on a Brad Peacock RBI, 2 RBI double.
Or you just go ahead and tell him to rake the first fastball he sees.
I was going to say in the Atlanta series, he kept fouling pitches off, and he eventually got around to squaring him up in fair territory. He hit one down the line here.
Well, just for the sake, if they actually keep this on a DVD for him, he did a great job of getting on plane early. Stayed through the baseball. It was a beautiful piece of hitting, knowing that Bond is going to stay away from him, not trying to do too much. Also, a luxury having Jake Marisnick at first. He could have had just one RBI, but he gets 2 out of it.
I wish we had A.J. Hinch on headsets today. So I would ask him, why would you think about bunting Peacock his first time up?
Took him out of his game plan.
Really? He's not a bunter. He's an RBI machine.
Extra base hits. His OPS is going off the charts right now.
Look, Jake getting around first base a couple of times today in record speed.
He's getting his sprint work in.
He is. Here's George Springer. I don't think George can catch Peacock with a 2-base head start. If George gets a base hit, I do not think he's going to quite get there. But they had an amusing moment together in Atlanta where Peacock was on second, George was on first, and George on an Altuve extra base hit chased him all the way around the bases. Peacock was safe. Springer was thrown out as he was slowed up by the man on second base right now, Brad Peacock.
How about Brad Peacock helping his own run support?
He's got the gloves on still.
Got to protect those things.
I was going to say right before that hit that if he's going to get a hit, it's probably going to be to right field, because that's where all the fair contact he made was just enough bat speed to keep the ball in play, and he did there. Springer down on the count 1-2. 7-0 lead. Peacock with 2 RBIs on the double down the right field line. And all this inning, you could say, was helped by J.D. Davis tagging up and going from first to second. Because without that, who knows if Jake Marisnick gets on base when they pitch to Jake. And then certainly you're not sure if Brad Peacock's going to get an opportunity for the next hitter. High fly ball. George got underneath this one. The left fielder Chris Herman is there. The Astros tack on 2 more, though, with Brad Peacock driving in 2. It's now a 7-0 Houston lead.
By your local Honda dealer. It's a little different today. These are Astros starters since May 22nd. Check out these numbers. Look at the innings pitched on these guys, the ERA and the opposing batting average. See if you can figure out who these Astros are. So from May 22nd on, there has been some injuries in there. Guys have come back from injury.
Some interesting numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in the middle had the lowest ERA and lowest batting average against. Just saying.
So name that Astros, basically name that starting rotation right now. Can you match up the faces with the numbers? Brad Peacock has been very good since May 22nd, really all year. If you're going to find an MVP amongst the pitching staff, it's hard to argue with what number 41 has done this year. He will face Brandon Drury, Chris Herman, and Anthony Banda, 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. Peacock got out there a little later after a 2 RBI double to make it a 7-0 game. Peacock's retired all 6 in this game, including 3 strikeouts. Starts off with a fastball a little low, 1-0. You're worried about Peacock running the bases and exerting effort and then going back on the mound. Didn't show any ill effects in that game in Atlanta. Quality start on a very warm game against the Braves in Atlanta at SunTrust Park. Called strike. It's 1-2. Peacock had to run the bases twice in that game with a walk and a single. Ahead of Drury, 1-2. Doesn't get the chase on that pitch. It's 2-2. Peacock does get almost 50% of his strikeouts, 46% with that slider. And a foul ball at the plate. Drury staying alive. Brandon Drury coming in with a .273 batting average, second on the team to Goldschmidt with 26 doubles. Has hit well here at Chase Field for the last year plus. On the ground, J.D. Davis is there. Strong arm to get Drury, and there's one out in the third.
Hey guys, I don't know if you've got some deliveries up there yet, but Arizona always does a really nice job of hooking us up with whatever new food items they have, and I just got a delivery down here. It's a funnel cake chicken sandwich. I'm going to give it a shot. This looks fantastic, by the way. A little sweet and salty action. I also have a churro dog 2.0 that I dipped my hand in on accident, so I'm covered in whipped cream already. But good food here at Chase Field. They do a nice job, and they keep coming up with new things. Like the churro dog we had last year, but this is 2.0. Little Oreo cookie tossed. See? Do y'all have food up there?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We're enjoying yours.
You have different
I'm not
food,
sure
though.
where they put it, but it's somewhere up here, yeah.
So this is
hard to
perfect if
find.
you have a sweet tooth. Let me know what you guys have.
Yeah, asking if we have food in the booth is like saying, do we have a smorgasbord of all kinds of fun? Got myself a chicken enchilada dog. Not sure where they find these dogs at. My goodness. Yeah, hey, happy flight.
Is that the D-Bat dog?
It is.
Todd's got it.
It's one of our faves.
Don't mind if I do. Oh, back on camera, sorry. Thought you were going to take it the rest of the way, Todd. Jeez.
One of your faves, Drew? You've tried this?
That's amazing. We had that last year. It was great.
Hit fungos with this thing.
Yeah, you could. Let it sit for a couple days. I bet you could.
So thank you to the Diamondbacks for those deliveries.
No, they spoil us.
Three and two the count. Chris Herman, the batter. Brad Peacock's retired the first 7 he has faced.
Came with its own carry-on case.
Yeah, you can take that as an extra piece of luggage on the flight today. 3-2 is a called third strike. Herman looking for a walk, and Brad Peacock picks up strikeout number 4.
I'll tell you what, when you've got a nasty slider, there's a tendency as a hitter to look for that in a 2-strike count, and therefore you can pump that fastball in there, but you've got to be able to locate it like Brad Peacock just did. That was nicely done.
Here's the opposing pitcher, Anthony Banda. 0 for 4 as a hitter. Peacock misses outside. 4 strikeouts of the first 8 hitters that Peacock has faced. And it's 1-1. Astros with a 5-run second and a 2-run third. Out to a big 7-0 lead. Bonda saying, is that a strike? For me too. It's 1-2. Chris Guccione calling balls and strikes today. And the breaking ball getting the opposing pitcher. 2 strikeouts that inning, 5 in the game. And the Astros lead 7-0 through 3.
Fans, are you ready for some?
The Astros have put up 7 runs off 8 hits on Anthony Bonda, a Texas kid who was excited to pitch against the Astros, and the Astros had a good game plan coming in against him. AJ saying that today the key was to control the top of the strike zone because he was going to throw a lot of high fastballs to these guys, and they were going to try to get his pitch count up as well, as he throws a lot of pitches in some of his outings. And as far as the lineup goes for AJ, as he put this one together, he didn't put a lot of lefties in there, just Reddick. He also wanted to give Marwin Gonzalez the day off today, guys. He's been beat up a little bit, needed just one day. Todd?
Yeah, good to give Marwin a little breather. Marwin having quite a season, but every once in a while, good to give him a day off, especially day game after a night game. And here's Alex Bregman. Bregman with a single and a triple so far in this game. Knocking in a run, scoring a run, batting for the 3rd time in the 4th inning. Has a 1-0 count. Mentioned Bonda, kid out of San Jacinto. He and the Tigers' Daniel Stump pitching on the same team for San Jack in 2012. 1-2 the count to Bregman. Fastball down low. It's 2-2. Bregman, Jose Altuve, Yuli Gurriel, 2, 3, 4 in the Astros lineup. Alex fouls one away. Alex with his 5th triple his last time up. Sent a ball down the right field line. All those runs scoring with 2 outs, 4 of the 5 in the 2nd inning. Ground ball towards 3rd. Backhanded there, and the play across in time. Jake Lamb throws out Alex Bregman for the first out of the 4th. What's the verdict on the Diamondback dog?
The enchilada one is spicy, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's why we haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I'm still trying to cool off over here. But I was a big fan of the D-Bat dog before.
A little kick to the enchilada?
Yeah, that chicken enchilada concoction is pretty spicy, to say the least.
And then you said the Diamondback dog's got a little nacho cheese in it?
Oh, yeah. It's always a nice little touch.
Nice. Jose Altuve 1 for 2, singled his last time up. Altuve takes one away. It's 2-0.
Yeah, considering what Julia was delivered, we may not hear from her for a while.
Two and 1 the count. Pulled the string on Altuve. Bonda throws a heavy percentage of fastballs, and this is a fastball hitting team. As Altuve goes after that changeup and fouls one back, it's 2-2. 2/3 of his pitches and slightly over 2/3 of his pitches to righties are the fastball. And with this Astros offense, that could be a dangerous pitch if you're not locating it.
Doesn't have to locate it the way Altuve is being aggressive. Finally got one far enough away he didn't offer at.
Altuve is amongst the lowest pitches per plate appearance because he makes so much contact and so aggressive, and he takes a pitch down low there.
How about that?
Walks on the 3-2 pitch. He's a 1-out base runner.
Stick around after this Friday's game at Minute Maid Park for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Occidental Petroleum. This week's Friday night fireworks display will be synced to 1997 throwbacks as a part of Legends Weekend. Visit Astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Yuli Gurriel, the batter. Mentioned Altuve doesn't see many pitches. This is the guy that sees the fewest pitches per plate appearance in the major leagues.
AJ's got to love putting those guys back to back in the lineup.
Although Yuli's got some competition now. If he starts extending some at bats, he might not be the leader anymore. There's a line drive, pace hit into left center field. That one's heading all the way to the wall. Altuve will score easily. Gurriel's thinking about 3. And Yuli Gurriel goes in sliding with a triple. 8-0 Astros.
Size of this outfield, and as quickly as that ball got to the left center field gap, Yuli getting 3 bags. So it turns out La Piña's haircut is pretty aerodynamic. You're right about Altuve, though. Those wheels just keep it steady, cruising on into home plate.
The first triple of Yuli Gurriel's major league career.
Pretty entertaining.
And now the infield comes in for Josh Reddick. Yuli with 103 games played this year. Last year played in 36. So in game number 140 of his big league career, he now has a triple. There's a called strike to Josh Reddick. It's 1-1.
It was a line drive at 106.7 miles an hour off the bat.
Torey Lovullo trying to keep his bullpen rested, knowing they have 2 more games in this home and home with the Astros. Nobody warming up in this 8-0 game.
Will create a conversation with your pitching coach, Mike Butcher. But this might be one of those wear it sessions for the young man.
Foul ball off the bat of Reddick. It's 2-2. Josh looking to join the hit party. Everybody with a hit in this game, including the pitcher Brad Peacock, with the exception of Josh Reddick. 9 hits. Bregman, the lone Astro with a multi-hit game. Reddick double clutched at that and eventually fouled it off. RBI triple by Yuli Gurriel adds to the lead. Brad Peacock and the Astros lead at 8-0. Ground ball with the infield in. They're going to stop the run from scoring as Josh Reddick grounds out to second base for out number 2. And Josh is not pleased. That was relatively tame by Reddick standards.
Yeah, he's been visiting Snap City on this road trip pretty frequently. It's been rough.
He is now 2 for 27 on the trip. J.D. Davis, a couple of runs scored. Good tag up in his last plate appearance after being hit by a pitch. Takes a pitch down and in. He's got a double and been on base twice and scored 2 runs. Now a chance to drive in a run with 2 outs. That has been a specialty today. Astros have 6 of their 8 runs have scored with 2 outs. Two out, 2 RBI doubles in this game. One by George Springer. That's not a surprise. One by Brad Peacock. That is a surprise. His first 2 RBIs of his career.
But it's not a surprise that the 9th spot for the Houston Astros is raking.
That's true. 3-0 the count to J.D. Davis. He looks down to Gary Pettis to see if he's got a green light here. Better at bats we've seen the last couple of games from J.D.
Completely agree.
Ball 4-pitch walk. J.D. Davis on base for the 3rd consecutive time.
Just feel like there's been more intent in J.D. Davis's approach. I think in the first couple games that he started, he was out there just trying to get hits instead of trying to hit the ball hard. Looks a little more comfortable with that leg kick that he's got. But when you're ready to hit, you're going to look for pitches you can drive. And if it's not a pitch you can drive, you have a tendency to lay off it. He's in a good spot right now.
Max Stassi, the batter, 1 for 2, drove in the game's first run. Swings the first pitch and sends a high fly ball into shallow right. Second baseman Drury is there, and he puts it away. For the final out, Astros add to their lead. It's now an 8-0 game. Astros lead the Diamondbacks from the desert in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. We welcome you back to a little Tuesday afternoon Astros baseball from Chase Field. Brad Peacock getting a lot of run support. Nothing new there. Astros lead this game 8-0, and Peacock so far so good through 3 innings. Facing the top of the lineup, Ketel Marte, A.J. Pollock, and Jake Lamb. Marte grounded out his first time up. And a fastball for a called strike. On the ground, slowly hit. That's a fair ball, and it hits the bag, and that is how the Diamondbacks have their first hit of the game. You've got to be kidding me.
That stinks.
A slow hit ground ball that just hit the corner of the first base bag.
Unbelievable. It's a little disappointing.
Well, now Brad Peacock will pitch out of the stretch for the first time as he faces A.J. Pollock. Peacock has worked with big leads plenty of times this year. He mentioned all those road starts, 16, 19, 13 runs of support. And really, with the lone exception being that game in Toronto in his last home start, he has pitched well with a big lead. Toronto game, he gave up 3 home runs, 3 of the 5 he's allowed on the season.
Well, he admittedly said he just got into fastball mode and just started pumping fastballs, and I think the Blue Jays understood that, and they are a good home run hitting team when they're going well, and especially when they know what's coming.
First time today the Diamondbacks have bullpen action going. Pitch down low to Pollock. It's 2-1.
First time Peacock's had pitch out of the stretch position.
Astros had scored 17 runs in their first 7 games on this road trip, and now they've got 8 through 4 innings today. There's a strike, and the count evens up 2-2. Didn't miss by much, and now the count's full. Line drive past J.D. Davis down the left field line, all the way to the corner. Marte being held at third as Reddick gets the ball back in. Double for Pollock, and the Diamondbacks have runners on second and third and nobody out. Looks like Davis may have got a little piece of that.
I think he thought it was a hit a little bit harder, but off the end of the bat, down that left field line, J.D. Davis got elevated to try and catch it. Just kept tailing away from him. See, a little early, just off the edge of the glove. You're right.
So the first scoring threat of the afternoon for the Diamondbacks. Second and third, nobody out, facing the tough Jake Lamb, followed by the even tougher Paul Goldschmidt. And this ball is drilled into right center field. That'll go all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score. It's now an 8-2 game. Lamb thinking about 3, but the Astros get the ball back in quickly. 2 RBI double by Lamb, his 91st and 92nd runs batted in on the year. All started with that little ground ball off the first base bag.
Center cut fastball too for Brad Peacock, and Lamb knows what to do with that. With those 2 RBIs, ties him up with Paul Goldschmidt at 92.
2 guys on the same team that are tied for 3rd right now in the National League in RBIs. Goldschmidt fouls one away. Goldschmidt and Lamb with 92, Giancarlo Stanton with 93, and Nolan Arenado with 100. Out of the windup, there hasn't been any hard contact against Brad Peacock. Out of the stretch, a couple of doubles. He's ahead of Paul Goldschmidt 0-2. Astros trying to get back on the winning track after a rough road trip. They had set the new mark in the Astros history for the best record. 2017 version, erasing more than half of the season in the record books from all the previous Astros teams. Game number 1 from game number 34 through game 117. 2017 Astros with the best record in all of those marks of the season. Now they're tied with the loss last night. They're tied with the 98 Houston Astros team through 118 games. That 98 team would go on to win a franchise best 102 games. Goldschmidt stays alive. Peacock got Goldschmidt swinging his first time up. Single off the first base bag, followed by a double down the line and left. A double into right center field. And now Stassi wants a word with Peacock in this 1-2 count. Slowly hit. J.D. Davis comes in, has no chance. Good stop by Gurriel on the low throw to avoid any further advancement. Infield single for Goldschmidt and 4 consecutive hits in the 4th inning for the Diamondbacks.
Goldie can run a little bit. That was perfectly placed. Just a soft roller down that third base line.
2 of the 4 hits this inning haven't been hit hard.
Look at it on the Super Bowl. J.D. Davis doing everything he can. Yuli did a good job of not only catching it, but saving his own life.
Now batting, right fielder, J.D. Martinez.
Paul Goldschmidt talked about it growing up in the Woodlands. Probably watched a lot of Jeff Bagwell tape, and you can see the similarities that we talk about: the speed, the power, the ability to produce runs. Bagwell did a great job of driving in runs. Obviously, the RBI is quite high, but both guys with high average, high OPSs. They can run. You see the stolen base numbers very faintly on the bottom there, where Goldschmidt is well ahead of Jeff Bagwell, but guys who are multi-dimensional type ball players. Goldschmidt has been runner-up twice to the MVP vote in 2013 and 15.
2 different body types, but producing similar results.
Very good results, consistently too.
They have a lot of similarities in all aspects of their game. That is a good comp. 0-1 to J.D. Martinez. Tried to hold off on the slider, and he does. It's 1-1. J.D. flied out to right his first time up. Brad Peacock searching for an out in this inning. He had cruised through the first 3 innings, retiring all 9 batters. Then a little slowly hit ground ball off the bat of Ketel Marte hit the first base bag, and since then he has not recorded an out. There's a strike. It's 1-2. Goldschmidt and Bagwell, also very good teammates, good guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah, extremely good. Paul Goldschmidt, I was lucky enough to be here in Arizona when he broke through and came to the big leagues, and just a great guy.
There's that slider picking up a big strikeout. Peacock needed something to go his way this inning and gets the strikeout of J.D. Martinez.
Catcher, Chris Iannetta.
Sharp slider there for strikeout number 6. Now here's Chris Iannetta. Line drive center field. Good break, Marisnick, and he traps it on the hop. Bases will be loaded. Jake making a diving effort. Trapped that on one bounce, and is Jake okay?
How the heck did he trap that? He was fully extended, yet was able to lift that left arm high enough to catch that ball. That was incredible. He got a good jump. You see him racing in, but after he's laying out, he's able to make the adjustment and get the glove on top.
Wow.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I know it's not a catch, but that was incredible that he kept the ball in front of him, number one, but also kept it in his glove.
Seems to be okay out there. Maybe knocked the wind out of him.
And I misspoke earlier. Brad Peacock pitches out of the stretch ever since the beginning of the season. That was his first time pitching with a runner on.
He's not been as good with runners on base in this game as 4 of the last 5 have reached with that single by Iannetta. Now Brandon Drury, the batter. Drury grounded out his last time up. Astros could use a ground ball right here. All of a sudden it's 8-2 with the bases loaded. Laying off that slider, 2-0.
I'll tell you what, if you get a ground ball, if you're Brad Peacock right here and it turns into a double play ball, makes that play by Jake Marisnick that much bigger. Brad Peacock work the edge, drift to the middle of the plate, get hit a little bit harder, and now he's starting to drift away from the edges off the zone.
Where was that pitch? Ball 4. Inside, says home plate umpire Chris Guccione. Bases loaded walk on 4 pitches to Brandon Drury.
Stasher trying to do his best job to frame that up and pick up Brad Peacock.
Now it's 8-3 and the bases are loaded, and bullpen action going in what was a very comfortable 8-0 lead when this inning started. The Astros did not anticipate getting their bullpen working this early. Chris Herman, the batter. Gregor Blanco on deck as a pinch hitter. Herman tried to hold up, but he went around 0-1.
Unbelievable. Why swing right there after you just saw the guy in front of you walk on 4 pitches? If you're hitting behind a guy, bases juiced, and you just saw a guy walk on 4 pitches, you better keyhole.
Now he's down at the count 0-2.
Now you've let Brad Peacock take command of the AB.
About to make his 75th pitch. He was free and easy the first 3 innings without anybody on the bases. Now he's had trouble the entire 4th.
It's not a situation where Herman's trying to expand the zone to drive in runs. There's a pinch hitter on deck with a pitcher hitting behind him.
Gregor Blanco, who was the leadoff hitter in last night's game, on deck. Strikeout. Big one. Brad Peacock needed it. 2 outs. Now the bases will remain loaded with 2 outs, and Gregor Blanco will be the pinch hitter. Blanco 0 for 4 in game 1 of this series last night. 0 for 8 this year as a pinch hitter. And he takes a strike on the corner.
Take it.
9th man to the plate in this inning. The Astros sent 9 to the plate in the second. There's that good slider. It's 0-2.
That was a borderline wiffle ballish. Good break, sweeping across that zone.
Francis Martez warming up in the Astros bullpen. Diamondbacks have had Silvino Bracco warming up the entire inning. So even if Bonda's turn didn't come to the plate this inning, and it took a 9-hitter inning to get to Bonda's spot, Anthony was going to come out of the game anyhow here because Bracco was warming up when this half inning started. He's at the point now where he's not even throwing any more pitches. A 5-hit inning. A walk thrown in there after Peacock had retired the first 9 batters in this game. One and 2 on a pitch in the dirt. Outside 2-2. Well, this is where you want to make something happen if you're Brad Peacock. You want to get to a bases loaded 2-out full count.
Ramp that pitch count up in a hurry.
He got him. Slider really breaking down and in on the left-hand hitting Blanco. Peacock now with 8 strikeouts. Strikes out 3 in the inning, but also allows 3 runs. AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Axe. Find your magic. And by the all-new 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best limited truck warranties. See dealer for warranty details. Fifth inning baseball, long bottom half of the fourth inning for the Astros and Brad Peacock. He's going to stay in this game. He is due up second in this inning as the Astros will come to bat with an 8-3 lead. The Diamondbacks starter is out of the game. Jake Marisnick will lead off against the new pitcher, Silvino Bracco.
Bracco's got a fastball, tops out 94, 95 miles an hour, has a changeup and a slider. Making his 11th appearance on the season. 11 punch-outs in those 10 and the third innings pitched.
Just called back to the team yesterday. This is his 7th time with the Diamondbacks this year. 10 appearances previously, just averaging about appearance and a half per time with the Diamondbacks. He has been on that Reno Phoenix shuttle quite a few times. Jake Marisnick, who has been on base twice and scored a couple of runs, takes a called strike, 0-1. Jake scored on a 2-out double by George Springer his first time up, and then scored on a 2-out double by Brad Peacock his last time on base. Jake has had the sprint from first to home down today. Tries to hold up on a pitch down low. He goes around. It's 0-2. In at the mute, the crew chief at first base. On the ground, foul. Anthony Bonda, kid out of Sinton, Texas, and San Jacinto, ended up going 4 innings, allowing 9 hits and 8 runs. They intentionally walked Jake Marisnick last time to get to Brad Peacock, and he spoiled that strategy with a 2 RBI double. Jake hanging in there, down in the count. Bonda walked 3, hit a batter, and struck out 3 in his 4 innings of work. Called third strike. Marisnick goes down looking. That's 1 out in the 5th. Brad Peacock will get another chance to bat. Earlier this year had his first hit and his first run scored. This afternoon with his first major league RBI. Now 2 for 15 lifetime as a hitter. Well, that's on the corner to Peacock, 0-1. One and 1 the count. Off the end of the bat, and it's 1-2. 25-year-old Silvino Bracco from Maracaibo, Venezuela. He and Jose Altuve were teammates in the World Baseball Classic for Team Venezuela. Called third strike. Threw a changeup there to Brad Peacock.
Respect.
Respect for a guy who drove in 2 his last time up. Get a behind-the-scenes look at historic Union Station, luxury suites in the broadcast booth, even the dugouts with a Minute Maid Park tour. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. If you saw the opposing pitcher hit a double down the right field line late on a fastball.
You try and speed him up with the changeup.
What was that? Yeah, a two-strike changeup. It worked. Who am I to say? Just a little unusual, I think, in the pitch selection. There's a foul back to the screen by Springer. It's 0-1. Springer with a 2-run double also scored a run. George 1 for 3, hit a bullet his first time up. Lining out to Herman in left field to start the game on a nice play by Chris. That's upstairs, 1-1.
Rocco going with the hesitation at the top of his windup.
It's been a while since Minute Maid Park fans had a chance to watch George play in a game at home. Missed 13 straight games, coming back early on this road trip. There's that hesitation Blummer talked about as Springer fouls one back. It's 1-2. But a chance to see George in there tomorrow, you would think. They're giving him scheduled days off coming back from that injury. After missing the 13 games, saw him DH in game 2, saw him get a day off in Texas. Good to see George back in there at the top of the lineup. At RBI his first time up, 69 RBIs on the year. That's the team lead. Rocco going from hesitation to a quick pitch. And it's 2-2.
In most dugouts you'll hear it called skit pitching. Just because the guy's making it up as he goes. It's like a skit. Trying to throw the timing off of the hitter. George can play that game too.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why he called timeout.
Out of play, stays 2-2 on Springer. Astros trying to get a win this afternoon and wrap up what has been a disappointing road trip. Their first road trip of the season without success. This would be their first losing trip of the year. 0-3 in Chicago, 1-2 in Texas, and now 0-1 so far, but a lead in this game in Arizona. Swing and a miss. Rocco ends up striking out the side. Against Marisnick, Peacock, and Springer. We're halfway home. It is 8-3 Astros.
Powered by Kubota. Talking about Dallas Keuchel and Colin McHugh. This was Colin McHugh yesterday. The 2 games that these guys have pitched, we want to see them start to round into form after coming off the DL. And according to these numbers, it would suggest that they might have found that pitch they needed to get going. 12 1/3 innings pitched between the both of them. 12 hits scattered. Only 3 runs given up. And we've seen them get punch-outs when they need them. But the best thing for me is that Dallas Keuchel's gotten his command of all 3 pitches back. The changeup has been nice, and Colin McHugh is working that slider in to be pretty nasty.
Tel Marte starts off the 5th inning with an opposite field single. And Marte, who started that rally in the 4th inning with a little dribbler up the first baseline, this time hits the ball hard the other way. That's now 6 hits the last couple of innings for the Diamondbacks. Peacock's been good all year. All of a sudden you can have McHugh and Keuchel regain form. Charlie Morton's been good since coming back from the DL. Fiers has hit a little blip lately after pitching very well through the previous 6 or 7 starts. But you're seeing signs of this rotation. It hasn't been the smoothest of road trips for the rotation for sure, but you're seeing small signs here and there that things could be getting back to restoring order.
Well, before Keuchel's start, the previous 5 starts, which is 1 time through that rotation, the ERA was 8.88.
J.D. Davis to Altuve, and Altuve throws it high. That ball, I don't know if Altuve ever had a grip on it. J.D. took it a little while to get to second as well, so fielder's choice off the bat of A.J. Pollock.
Third baseman, Jake Lamb.
Ranging to his left, kind of rattling around in there as he digs for it. You can see the bobble leads to that palm ball that he throws to Altuve.
So here's Jake Lamb. Lamb doubled, hit a bullet to right center field his last time up. Outfield alignment against Lamb as they kind of pinch everybody towards the middle. Trying to cut off the gaps against Jake Lamb.
It's a good look at George and Jake out there, center and right field, pinching that right center field gap, giving him the lines.
Lamb with those 2 RBIs his last time up to 92 on the season. Francis Martez warming up again for the Astros. Brad Peacock trying to at least get through 5 today with this big lead. Outside it's 1-1. Pitch count is not in danger right now. He's at 86. He's thrown as many as 109 this season. You don't want to see this game get too much closer as the Diamondbacks rallied last inning. Foul at the plate. It's 1-2. Only game in the major leagues this afternoon being played right here. That's a called 3rd strike and a big pitch for Peacock, freezing Lamb. For Brad, that's 9 strikeouts and 2 outs in the 5th.
We haven't seen too many legitimate curveballs today from Brad Peacock. This one's a good time to break it out. Hovering at the top of the zone just enough to get the call. It was actually a really good job of Stassi letting that pitch come to him. Not trying to reach out and stick it.
You said it early in the game. He's a good receiver. We've seen that a few times today.
Well, and him being around this Astros organization after being traded over from the Oakland A's and being in spring training, being in the big leagues a couple times, he knows these guys pretty well. And he also came over with Brad Peacock from Oakland. So a little bit of knowledge there helps out today, getting that first start of the 2017 season for Max.
Ground ball down the third base line. Fair ball towards the corner. Pollock around third. He's being waved home. The relay throw from Bregman is going to be not in time. It gets past Stassi. Going to third is Goldschmidt. It's now an 8-4 game. RBI double by Goldschmidt. His 93rd run veteran of the year. As Pollock scores from first.
Pollock can run well. Fastball running back over the fat part of the plate, and Goldschmidt knows exactly what to do with it, yanking it down that third base line with J.D. Davis well off the line. With that ball getting down the line, A.J. Pollock is off the races. Would have been interesting to see if there was a good throw, if they would have had him at home plate.
Well, just 1 out shy of qualifying for a win. Brad Peacock taken out of the game in this 8-4 contest. Francis Martez coming in and out of the bullpen. And we'll be back after this. Through 3 innings, allowed 3 in the 4th, and then allows a run here in the 5th, and is taken out of the game. Francis Martez is the new pitcher.
I always appreciate it when AJ allows Francis Martez to pitch on Tuesdays. Today's a Tuesday, and Frankie's in there. Last time he was out there was on the 12th. He threw an inning on the 12th, going 29 pitches.
Astros unable to turn a double play in this inning that could have helped out Peacock getting through 5. Instead, he comes out of the game in an 8-4 situation with a runner on third and 2 outs and a strike to J.D. Martinez. J.D. has flied out to right and struck out. Fouls that 96-mile-an-hour fastball back to the screen. It's 0-2.
Being introduced to Frankie's noise that he can bring in the mid to upper 90s.
And he gets a 3-pitch strikeout for Francis Martez, getting J.D. Martinez to keep this an 8-4 game.
this Sunday as 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Legends Weekend 1997 replica pennant presented by Houston Methodist. Visit astros.com/legends for more info and to purchase tickets.
Good memories, 97 celebration. Well, Central Division champions.
Did the same thing in 98, 99.
The Legends here are represented by big heads that race after the 5th inning.
Explains a lot.
We head to the 6th in an 8-4 game. Alex Bregman fouls one back. Not far from those big heads. Luis Gonzalez, Mark Grace, Randy Johnson, Matt Williams represented in the races here at Chase Field. Bregman 2 for 3, single, triple, and a ground out. Popped on the infield. Rocco, the pitcher, is going to give way to the third baseman Lamb, who puts it away for out number 1. League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. It's pretty good company for Jose Altuve to be in.
That's impressive.
Second baseman, Jose Altuve.
Leading the major leagues in average and total hits since 1995. Tony Gwynn, of course, showing off, doing it twice, and then Ichiro in 2004. 2014, Jose Altuve trying to be a repeat offender on that list here in 2017.
So since 97, it's only happened twice. Altuve trying to get it done for the second time in his career as he faces his teammate from the World Baseball Classic. Silvino Bracco misses 1-0. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Altuve's been on base a couple of times today. A single, a walk. He also struck out. Astros led this game 8-0. The Diamondbacks have scored in each of the last 2 innings. It's now an 8-4 game. Rocco misses inside to Altuve. It's 2-1.
Likes that changeup, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. We'll throw that changeup, especially to left-hand hitters too, but also not afraid to throw it to righties. He knows Altuve likes the fastball, and he throws another changeup there, and the count's 2-2. Jose with 46 multi-hit games on the season. He'll get at least another at bat after this to try and add to that total, as he already has 1 hit in this game. Up and in, it's 3-2. During all the injuries, that's been the one constant, Jose Altuve. Springer's been down, Correa's still down. Both catchers on the DL. Chopper back towards the mound. Bracco has it on 2 hops and retires Altuve for out number 2. Well, Bracco has come in and restored a little order for the Diamondbacks. He struck out the side in the 5th and now retiring the first 2 batters of the 6th inning. Yuli Gurriel, fresh off his first major league triple, drove in a run. At the time, it gave the Astros an 8-0 lead. And a called strike. Gurriel down on the count, 0-2. Quick pitch there. It's 1-2. Astros coming home for 8 after this game. 2 with the Diamondbacks tomorrow and Thursday. Then Oakland in town over the weekend. Day off Monday. And they wrap up with another interleague series, taking on the Washington Nationals. Line drive, base hit. Yuli Gurriel with back-to-back hits. Astros in double digits with base hits now, and Yuli has his second in 4 at-bats.
Yuli getting behind this baseball and driving it the other way. It's a good piece of hitting. When he is right, he is going very well up the middle and the other way.
Well, here's Josh Reddick. Josh could use a base hit here. Everybody else has one in the lineup. Josh had that average up around 306, 307 for a while, but he's seen it dip down to 292 on this road trip, 2 for 27. Reddick ahead of the count, 2-0.
Been getting pitched tough too. At 2-0 count, looking for a heater, and the guy throws you the changeup. Good pitch in a 2-0 count.
On the ground up the middle, and Reddick has joined the hit party. Everybody now in the lineup with a base hit as Josh Reddick singles to center.
An emphatic gesture to the dugout saying thank you.
Third baseman.
It's nice to be on the board with you guys. You always get comments out of the dugout when you've been in a pretty large slump and you finally get a hit. They start screaming for the baseball like it's the first hit you've ever gotten.
Probably feels like it at times. And that brings to the plate a guy who's been on base all 3 times. J.D. Davis, double, hit by pitch, walk. Now he's in an RBI situation, first and second, 2 outs. Most of the Astros' damage today has come with 2 outs. 6 of the 8 runs scored have been driven in with 2 outs in the inning. JD picked up his first 2 big league RBI Saturday in Texas. Up high, it's 1-1. Seen Davis be more selective at the plate. Still just 14 at bats in his big league career. He's 3 for 14. On the ground towards third, glove by Lamb, and he will take the play at third, getting the force out on Yuli Gurriel. Through 5.5, 8-4 Astros.
are heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Astros are leading 8-4. Frankie Tuesday back on the mound for the Astros. Be matching up against Chris Iannetta, Brandon Drury, and Chris Herman.
Martez can be the pitcher of record. Came on with Brad Peacock not qualifying for the win. Went 4 2/3, did the starter. Pitch upstairs to Iannetta. Peacock's final line, he goes 4 2/3 innings. Brad allowed 7 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Walked 1 and struck out 9. He continues to strike out a lot of hitters on the season, but couldn't quite get through the 5th inning, and now it's up to Francis Martez with an 8-4 lead. Iannetta 1 for 2 against Peacock. And a swing and a miss for strike 2. See how long AJ sticks with Martez. A little different scenario with National League Baseball. Martez would hit in the next inning if he's going to stay beyond the 6th. And Francis looking strong so far with a couple of strikeouts. They're getting Chris Iannetta. Julia? Julia? We'll get back to Julia. We're going to name that Astro Blummer. That's what Julia was going to say. And what we showed you were...
Pick your Astro is what it should be. The numbers revealed before we saw who it was, and now we matched up the names with the numbers. And how about right in the middle, Charlie Morton with the lowest ERA and batting average against. Keuchel and McHugh with the biggest numbers on the board.
And Peacock had the second best numbers coming into today. A lot of those were blown up with that start against Toronto. Today his numbers aren't going to end up looking great as he pitched with another big lead. But he's been as good as anybody all year. And 1-1 the count to Brandon Drury. Peacock will get another start Sunday to wrap up that series against the Oakland A's. He looked so good today for 3 innings. Kind of surprising to see what happened in the 4th to Peacock with that 5-hit, 3-run inning.
Yeah, and he's not one of the younger guys that you'd think would get flustered by, you know, a random base hit off a bag. Let that get to him. But he looked like he was a little bit flustered after that hit by Ketel Marte that hit the first base bag and shot into foul territory for that first hit for the Diamondbacks. But I agree with you in the sense those first 3 innings were wipeout Brad Peacock type stuff.
Called third strike on a pitch that Brandon Drury was backing away from the plate, thinking that pitch was going to hit him, and then it was a called strike by Chris Guccione. 3 strikeouts for Martez.
Well, Francis Martez just threw a C note in there on the inside corner.
Hello, 100.
That was a hungy. I think Drury just heard it.
Maybe the breeze.
Yeah.
Took him back.
Wow. 100?
It is Tuesday.
And he loves him some Tuesdays, don't he?
There's a strike at 98.
Change up?
Chris Herman 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Unfortunately today, Brad Peacock unable to go the 5 innings. He was on a 7-game winning streak. He could have won his 8th straight. Now the win could go to Martez, but still, you know, despite the trouble he ran into in the 4th, you feel as good with Brad Peacock on the mound as anybody this year.
And you know, luckily it is the middle of August, and some of those other guys, like namely the Dallas Keuchel and Colin McHugh's on that list, who are coming out the DL, have time to work those numbers a little bit further down and make them a little bit better. They are inflated because they haven't thrown that many innings. They have a chance to get those numbers down. But it might have been more fun just not to have the faces or names up there and say who's going to be in your rotation for the playoffs or down the stretch when you really need to gain some wins. That would have been interesting, and then you'd reveal the names, and you're like, for us, having been able to watch as many games as we had, We know that Brad Peacock has pitched extremely well.
One of the big questions is called third strike, and we'll get to it after this inning. Francis Marquez, locking hitters up, getting 2 in addition to swinging strike, strikes out the side.
Astros, we move to the 7th. Max Stassi will lead things off for the Astros in his first stint up here in the majors. He's had some time over the years in the big leagues, but getting an opportunity up here this year with all of the injuries the Astros have had, especially at the catching position, was thrilled to be a part of this club that he's watched so closely along with the other guys down in Fresno. They're having a heck of a year too for the Grizzlies. They struggled in the beginning and then really got it going. The offense is incredible, just like the majors, what the numbers that they've put up at this level. So when the Astros have called upon some of these guys, they are ready to go and they're ready to hit. And Max Stassi was talking about the hitting coordinator, Jeff Albert, for the Astros, implementing the philosophies down there. Everyone has a good approach and feeling really good at the plate. The numbers sure show that. And we've seen them contribute immediately when they're up here at the big league level, guys.
Yeah, good job by Jeff. We have seen instant contributions from a number of hitters this year. Derek Fisher hitting a home run in his first game. We saw Juan Centeno hit 2 home runs in his first 2 games as an Astro. Colin Moran hit a home run in his first game this season. And now Max Stassi with a double to get things rolling today in his first at bat of the season. Max is 1 for 3. Fly out, pop up in that double to left to get the Astros on the board. First run of that 5-run second. Facing a new pitcher, J.J. Hoover taking over for the Diamondbacks in the 7th inning.
Seeing slider and the curveball already. He's also got a changeup and a fastball. Tops out around 92, 93 miles an hour.
Yes, misses there, and it's 3-1. Bottom third of the order, Stassi, Jake Marisnick, and Francis Marquez is due up. And with Marquez spot in the order due up, there is bullpen action going for the Astros.
Why? Let him hit.
He has looked filthy in this game.
Just send him to the plate without a bat.
Not sure, as good as we've seen Marquez at various points this season, I'm not sure we've seen him any more filthy than today.
That was dominant type stuff with electric heat. But the way he walked off that mound, he is full of confidence right now.
3-2, ball 4 as Hoover walks the first batter he faces in the 7th inning. Diamondbacks with a double switch with the pitcher spot due up first in the next inning. So Hoover will bat 8th, and the new left fielder hitting 9th is Daniel Descalso. Descalso played second base in last night's game, out in left field today. Here's Jake Marisnick. Jake has been on base a couple of times and scored a couple of runs. Takes a called strike. Carlos Beltran looking for his first at bat of this series has reached the on deck circle. He will pinch hit for Francis Martez. Jake hooks one towards the corner and left, and this ball will be just foul. Marisnik thought he might have a chance at an RBI double. Instead, the ball just took foul, and Jake will have to come back with an 0-2 count.
Oh, just that close.
That was one of those that started way fair, too.
Yeah.
Jake hustling down the baseline, probably thought for sure that's extra bases. Foul back, it stays 0-2. Hoover, the 30-year-old right-hander, just back with the team yesterday. Likes that slider with 2 strikes, especially against righties. Although here he throws the fastball and Jake throws the bat. It hits the screen. All that results in a strikeout, and there's 1 out in the 7th.
Good exit velo on it. Trajectory high off the net.
Pitch hitting for Francis.
Was way up on the net.
Number 15, Carlos Beltran.
Here's Carlos Beltran's first at bat of this series. Beltran pinch hitting for Francis Martez, who goes an inning and a third, strikes out all 4 batters he faced. Beltran takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Beltran has seen Hoover before, a couple of hits and 3 at bats. Ground ball right side. Drury to short for 1. Martez return in time for the double play. Well, the Diamondbacks turn a double play, and that'll take us to the 7th inning stretch at Chase Field with the score: the Astros 8, the Diamondbacks 4.
And it is time for the 7th inning stretch. So get on your feet.
Toyota. Astros have played some great defense on this road trip. Adrian Beltre thrown out in Texas. Derek Fisher also getting a chance to show off his throw as he gets Brett Nicholas in that series. Alex Bregman from deep in the hole making a play in short. Yuli Gurriel has had a couple of good plays on this trip. One here in Phoenix and also in Arlington. Josh Reddick diving out last night. Josh Reddick made 2 great plays here in Phoenix, including this one against the fence. Alex Bregman, a fair hand play as well, getting the opposing pitcher, Zach Greinke. So the Astros with some good defense in this series and on the road trip.
Yeah, they haven't been getting too many hits, but they've done a good job of going out there trying to rob some of those hits and keep as many runs off the board as they possibly could.
Chris Davinsky takes over in the bottom of the 7th inning, and he'll face Daniel Descalso, the first batter he sees. And there's a line drive base hit into right field. Through the shift, 3 were on the right side of the infield, but it didn't matter. Descalso hitting his first at bat.
Shortstop,
Ketel Marte had a couple of hits. Last 2 times he faced Brad Peacock. Peacock goes 4 2/3 innings. Francis Marquez an inning and a third, and now Chris Davinsky. Be nice to see Devo have a solid outing here. It's been a little hit or miss for Davinsky since appearing in that All-Star game. Didn't pitch in that game, but he did make the American League All-Stars for the first time in his young career. Misses 2-0 to Marte. For Davinsky, it's really been a little bit of command issues and not been ahead of hitters. Unable to get to that changeup count like he was doing so frequently early in the season. Foul ball catches Stassi. It's 2-1.
Just like hitters, pitchers can go through slumps too. Just seems like some of those off-speed pitches for Devo catching a little too much of the plate, like that one he threw the 2 to Descalso. But there are scouting reports. The word is out. Chris Davinsky has good stuff, but now teams are trying to find ways to compete against him. They're getting him a couple times. Now it's up to Devo to kind of mix things up and try and create a little more deception.
Two count to Marte. Diamondbacks trailed this game 8-0. Scored 3 in the 4th, a run in the 5th. Next couple of hitters pretty significant for Davinsky. You don't want to have runners on base with Lamb and Goldschmidt coming up. And he gets the swing and a miss from Marte there. Davinsky picking up a strikeout. Astros have struck out 14 Diamondbacks, 1 out into the 7th. 14 of the 19 outs today have been via strikeout as Brent Strom goes out to talk to Chris Davinsky. 9 strikeouts for Brad Peacock, 4 strikeouts for Francis Marquez. And now Davinsky with his first out being a strikeout.
It's not too often you see the pitching coach come out after you punch a guy out looking pretty good with the fastball and the changeup. I'll tell you what, sometimes you got to make adjustments with your delivery and your pitches, but every once in a while maybe a clean shaven Devo might be a little more effective.
Now facing A.J. Pollock. This Diamondbacks team will strike out a bunch. Second in the National League in strikeouts. 11 of the last 12 outs recorded have been strikeouts since the first out of the 3rd inning. Third in the National League in strikeouts. Milwaukee and San Diego have struck out more than the Diamondbacks, but they're piling them up today. It's 1-1 to count to Pollock. 2-1 the count. Ball 3, and this is where you get into the danger area. You've got Lamb and Goldschmidt due up next. You do not want to have multiple runners on in a 4-run game with those guys. And ball 4. Well, that's been a little bit of the problem, is the walk ratio. Davinsky's so good not issuing walks throughout the first 2 months of the season. Now about 1 every 2 innings.
Bad visit.
Everybody clap your hands.
But Devo's got his work cut out for him now. RBI leaders for the Arizona Diamondbacks, hitting back-to-back in this lineup.
Jake Lamb with the 2 RBI double in the 4th inning has 92 runs batted in on the season. He is 1 for 3 today. Those pitches that have missed have been down. Davinsky has missed with 5 of the last 6. It's now 1-0 to Lamb.
Pitchers that have good secondary pitches very often can have them available at their service to just get me over strikes. And I think that's what Devo's trying to do, is if you had the ability to throw that changeup for a strike early on in the count, then he could go to the nasty ones when he needed to. Much like guys have get me over breaking balls to get ahead early in the count, just gets the hitter off the fastball. But Devo's having a tough time throwing the off speed early in counts for called strikes.
Comes back after being down 2-0, and the count evens up at 2-2.
And it looks like the velocity's coming back to Chris Davinsky. 95 on that hitter.
5 walks issued by Davinsky in August in 2 2/3 innings. On the ground, Gurriel to second. The return throw, double play. Astros turn 2. Bregman taking a low throw and still able to turn a double play, getting Jake Lamb on a sharply hit ground ball.
Led off this inning explaining how defense has been picking up this team. This is a huge play for Devo.
8-4 Astros. We head to the 8th inning in Arizona. Watch MLB.tv every night on every device. Get every out-of-market game live, plus a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Huge double play to get out of a first and second one-out situation for Chris Davinsky and the Astros in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And now George Springer will lead things off in the 8th. Luke Gregerson has started to warm up. Davinsky looked like he was struggling with his command, and then Gurriel to Bregman to Davinsky to wrap up that inning. That was as big a play as any in this game. Springer takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. George has doubled in 4 at bats. Drove in 2 with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. And it's a 1-1 count.
Look back at that play. Good backhanded stab by Yuli. Not the greatest of throws, but Bregman does a good job of staying on the bag, making the catch, and doing a really good job of getting upright again to make a strong throw to first with Devo covering. That was a huge play for Devo.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. There's a ground ball earlier in the game. The Astros were not able to turn a double play on, which looked like a better double play ground ball. That one was a tougher chance, and they were able to get 2. And Bregman right in the middle of it, the key of that transition. 1-2 pitch, chopped towards short. Marte on 2 hops. Throws it wide, but Springer tagged out for out number 1 in the 8th. Julia?
Hey guys, just a quick update on a couple of catchers who are trying to work their way back now. Brian McCann was just placed on the DL yesterday. He flew home. He will see doctors today trying to figure out what that right knee soreness is, how serious it is, how long it's going to take him to return. Also, Evan Gattis slowly working his way back. He's on the 7-day concussion DL. Had symptoms for several days, though, and was trying to do some cardio, still feeling those symptoms. He is playing catch now. He's had a couple of good days, which is good news for him because that's taken a little bit longer than they had expected in the beginning. So we'll know more here in the next couple of days when we head back to Houston.
It'll be good to see Evan Gattis again. He was not on this road trip at all. Brian McCann we saw for the first 2 legs of this trip, and Brian headed back to Houston to get that knee checked out as Alex Bregman takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-1. Bregman with a 2-for-4 game. Single and a triple his first 2 times up. There's a strike. It's 1-2. Luke Gregerson continues to throw, so it appears that Luke might get the 8th inning in this game. Saw Tyler Clippard's Astros debut in last night's game. Martez and Davinsky out of the bullpen today. 2-2 the count to Bregman. And the count's full. J.J. Hoover has pitched in the National League his entire career. With Cincinnati prior to joining the Diamondbacks, pitched with the Reds 2012 through last season. And a 94-mile-an-hour fastball gets Bregman. Second strikeout for Hoover, 2 outs in the 8th.
Second baseman, Jose Altuve.
Hoover and Silvino Bracco just joining the team yesterday, adding to their bullpen depth. They've gone with 1 extra pitcher now. David Peralta, who turned 30 yesterday, also on his birthday, welcomed in a newborn into his world. So quite a day for him as he is away from the team on paternity leave. Jose Altuve taking a called strike. Altuve 1 for 3 with a walk. Breaking ball away. It's 1-1. Foul ball off his back. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, that was interesting.
2-2 the count.
You got friends here? I think I hear him yelling in the background.
Driven deep to left field, all the way back to Scalzo. One hops against the fence. Jose Altuve with his 47th multi-hit game of the season has a 2-out double to left.
Good to see Altuve getting a pitch he can handle. Middle up. Foot down in a hurry, and he throws the barrel at it, rips it over the head of Descalso out there in left field as he trots in with another double.
It's actually his 48th multi-hit game of the season. Had one Sunday. And then another one here today. Fly ball in the right field. Gurriel is going to be retired as JD Martinez comes in to make the play for the final out. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's 8-4.
See the results from today's Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for voting and following at ATT Sportsnet SW. Who's your National League MVP? Because we know who you would pick for the American League. Giancarlo Stanton is going to win this Chevy Stroh poll with 35%. Bryce Harper, 26%. Paul Goldschmidt with 25%. Guys?
That's an interesting result for me.
Team that's probably not going to make the postseason.
Exactly. Not that he doesn't deserve some attention.
There are rumors that he cleared waivers.
Oh boy. You got an extra $300 million lying around?
Right. Luke Gregerson takes over, bottom half of the 8th inning in this 8-4 game.
It's good to see Luke working that ERA back under 4. It's been looking good of late. Last time we saw him was back in Chicago, where he went an inning. A couple of strikeouts in that appearance.
Doesn't Giancarlo have something ridiculous like 10 home runs already this month?
Yes. He's setting franchise records every time he makes contact, it seems like.
43 home runs. Hit his 43rd in the game last night. 1-1 the count to Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt certainly deserves consideration for that most valuable player. His team right now on pace to make the postseason. Marlins currently Even though they've won 4 in a row, 13 and a half back. J.D. Davis bobbles, and a throw just gets Goldschmidt. Picked at first by Yuli for the first out of the 8th.
Wow. J.D. with the initial bobble, and Paul Goldschmidt was hustling right out of the box. Made that a close play at first, but how about recently Yuli's been playing a very good first base. Picking up his buddy across the diamond with that pick. There's a good example of a guy getting on his heels and the hands getting stiff.
Yuli with a couple of nice picks in this game. Saves J.D. Davis there. Here's J.D. Martinez. He tries to hold up. And he goes around 0-1. Martinez 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts. Good breaking ball from Luke. It's 0-2. And 3-pitch strikeout for Luke Gregerson. Astros with yet another strikeout. Now 15 in the game and 2 outs in the 8th.
Not been an easy day for J.D. Martinez. Back-to-back-to-back punch-outs. The last 2 punch-outs have taken 6 pitches, but just not able to stay on the off-speed stuff from Luke Gregerson.
Here's Chris Iannetta. He has struck out twice. Iannetta 1 for 3 with a single in the 4th inning. Astros scored all their runs in the first 4 innings. Led this game 8-0. Out of play, 1-1.
With all those punch-outs in this ballgame, there's actually 2 Diamondbacks now that have the hat trick. J.D. Martinez, you just saw get the hat trick. Chris Herman is the other one. He's out of the game now. Had 3 ABs and 3 punch-outs.
Luke ahead of Iannetta, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Astros trying to take 2 of the final 3 games on this road trip after starting the trip 0-5. Still have a better road record than anybody else in baseball despite the struggles recently. 1-2 pitch, another strikeout. 16 total for the Houston Astros pitching staff. 2 for Luke in the 8th inning, and a 1-2-3 inning for Luke Gregerson.
Here in Arizona, and things got started in the second inning for the Houston Astros. They began with J.D. Davis going the other way for a double, backed up by his good buddy Max Stassi, yanking one down the line to trade places and score that run. With 2 outs, George Springer stepped in and shot one into that right center field gap, driving in Stassi and Jake Marisnick, and for good measure, Alex Bregman shooting one down that right field line, driving in George and putting himself in scoring position, only 90 feet away with that triple. That has been the difference in this ball game. You see those 5 runs in the second inning are enough to win this ball game, but they added a couple of insurance runs in the following innings.
Josh Reddick finally joined that group with everybody having a hit, but Reddick through the first 5 innings. Josh with a single his last time up. Takes a pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-1. 12 hits, 8 runs for the Astros. It's not been an easy road trip for scoring runs. 17 in the first 7 games for Houston before today, with the breakout in the second inning, continued in the third, and another one in the fourth. Scored 5 in the first game on this trip in Chicago against the White Sox. That had been their high total on the trip before today. 3-1's a called strike. It's 3-2. J.J. Hoover back out for his 3rd inning of work. He has pitched well. 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 shutout innings so far. Pop up, third base side. Reddick flips the bat away as he is retired, and now 1 for 5, first out of the 9th inning.
I think that's more of Josh being a little more upset. The pitch before that 3-1 count, he had a good fastball to hit, couldn't pull the trigger. That will happen when things are a little out of sync at home plate.
J.D. Davis, the batter. J.D. grounds one, and it takes a big hop, and Lamb still able to make the play. The throw's wide, and Davis tagged out by Goldschmidt. All kinds of things happening on that ground ball. Great hands by Lamb at third, and a tag at first by Goldschmidt.
I'm sure they're going to take a peek at it, but A.J. Hinch says nope. A heck of a play by Lamb, adjusting to the hop, and then with him getting rid of it so soon, the ball gets there in plenty of time for Goldschmidt to make the catch and put the tag on.
Oh, 2 outs, base is empty. Max Stassi is the batter. Double barrel action going in the Astros bullpen. Lefty Francisco Liriano warming up closest to us. Foul ball back. It's 1-1. Giles is also warming up. There you see the righty and the lefty warming. 4-run game. It'll be interesting to see who AJ goes to. 1-2 the count. Giles picked up a 6-out save for the first time in his career in Sunday's game.
You don't typically get your closer up if you're not going to use him. It's the only thing that kind of piques my interest with both of them up. Can face 7, 8, 9 in the order. Somebody's going to pinch hit for the pitcher in that 8 spot.
Possibly Liriano throwing if the Astros extend this lead even more beyond 4. We shall see. It's 3-2 to Max Stassi. Stassi with a double RBI his first time up. Also fly to right, popped up and drew a walk. Max getting his first start in 2017. Hits the ball deep to right center field. This ball's well tagged and gone. Max Stassi his second career home run, his first in his first game back in 2017. And the Astros lead 9-4.
That has got to feel good for Max Stassi. That ball was driven. For a second, I thought he was going to go swimming, but he hit it too hard.
Hit it up by that MLB Network sign.
Man, oh man, that is getting some up and away cheese and hammering it. That is a great look at Stassi staying behind that baseball and driving through it powerfully. That was nice.
1-0 to Jake Marisnick. Well, just like Derek Fisher, Juan Centeno, and Colin Moran before him, Max Stassi hits a home run in his first game since coming up from AAA Fresno. Jake Marisnick sends this one to right field, and that will do it for the Astros. But Stassi adds a run to the total. It's now 9-4. And with that, Ken Giles took a seat. It looks like Francisco Liriano will pitch the ninth. On AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Astros looking forward to heading home. That's the place they want to go, and they want to go home with a victory. They lead 9-4 heading into the bottom half of the ninth inning. We saw double barrel action going in the Astros bullpen in the top half of the ninth. The Max Stassi home run gives the Astros a 5-run lead and brings Francisco Liriano into the game.
Look at Francisco's numbers on the season. 85 and a third innings pitched, only 75 punch-outs, quite a few walks in that amount of time on the mound. He pitched in the Texas series, going an inning, gave up 1 hit. Nothing else the rest of the way, threw 16 pitches in doing so.
Liriano just acquired at the trade deadline. Max Stassi just up from Fresno, so they have a little quick meeting on the mound, making sure they're on the same page. As we start the bottom half of the ninth, Brandon Drury, the number 7 hitter, will lead things off. Now, Liriano still hasn't gotten that comfort zone yet coming out of the bullpen. Had been used exclusively as a starter with the Blue Jays this year. Just hasn't had that great command in his outings with the Astros. There's a fastball for a strike. It's 1-1. It'd be great if he has a clean inning here. It's a little bit of momentum working into this next homestand. Astros with a 5-run lead as we start the bottom of the ninth. Drury has a walk and 2 at bats, 0 for 2. The walk came with the bases loaded, drove in a run. Didn't miss by much. 3-1 the count. Outside ball 4. Liriano walks the first batter, Brandon Drury, in the bottom of the ninth.
Time now to look at our Ford spray chart.
for J.J. Hoover.
Brought to you by your local Texas Ford dealers. And we're looking at strikeouts by pitcher Brad Peacock. Only pitched 4 2/3 innings, but had 9 punch-outs. Martez an inning and a third, getting himself 4 punch-outs. Devo added 1, and Gregerson also had 2 in his only inning of work. 3 hitters for the Arizona Diamondbacks have hat tricks.
And by hat tricks,
3 punch-outs apiece. Not the kind of hat trick you want.
this is a spot in the lineup where we have seen 3 strikeouts. Adam Rosales will pinch hit for the pitcher J.J. Hoover, who did a nice job. Hoover came on and pitched 3 innings, allowed 1 run. Rosales on the season batting .239 with 4 home runs. Pinch hitting with 1 on and nobody out in the 9th inning. Foul back, it's 1-2. Saw Adam Rosales earlier this year with the Oakland A's. He was acquired by the Diamondbacks at the trade deadline. Getting a chance to pinch hit for the first time with Arizona. And there's a line drive caught by Alex Bregman for out number 1. Hit hard, but at the Astros shortstop, 1 away in the 9th.
Left fielder, Daniel Descalso.
Here's Daniel Descalso. He came on as part of a double switch. Singled in his previous at bat. Astros trying to win their final game on this road trip and their 40th game of the year on the road. Coming in with a record of 39-21 away from Minute Maid Park. Despite losing 7 road games in a row in one stretch, still the best road record in the major leagues. Trying to finish off this trip with a 2-6 mark. 1-1 the count. Off the plate foul, and it's 1-2. Scorer's decision as to who would be the winning pitcher if the Astros win. You would think that Francis Martez would be the most likely candidate. 1 1/3 innings for Martez, struck out every batter he faced and looked dominant in the process. Up and in, and after being ahead in the count, Ariano now with a 3-2 count on Descalso. It's not like Liriano has never pitched out of the bullpen. He has before and has in the playoffs. But the adjustment going from the rotation to the bullpen has not been as smooth as Francisco would like so far as a member of the Astros. The walks have been an issue. That's now 2 walks in the inning and 5 walks in his 5 appearances coming out of the bullpen. 2 on with 1 out. And Ken Giles back up in the Astros bullpen. Top of the order, Ketel Marte. 274 career starts for Liriano.
It's hard enough to catch a guy for the first time in your career on the big league stage, let alone block a 55-foot changeup. Pretty good job by Max. I'm sure he's feeling pretty good after that last AB.
That's a strike on the corner, 1-2. Quite a start to the 2017 big league season for Max Stassi today. RBI double, solo home run, 2 for 4, couple of RBIs, couple of runs scored. And covering up that pitch in the dirt. 274 career starts and now 34 appearances out of the bullpen in the regular season for Liriano. Also appeared in the postseason for the Blue Jays in 2016 a couple of times out of their pen. There's a strikeout. Strikeout number 17 for Astros pitcher. And 2 outs in the ninth.
It's good to see that slider. See him get on the side of it as he follows through, get the swing and miss from Ketel Marte.
Starts off Pollock with a pitch inside, 1-0. A.J. Pollock has been on base a couple of times today. He's 1 for 3 with a double and a walk. Astros looking for one more out, trying to split this 2-game set in Arizona, and then they'll face the Diamondbacks at Minute Maid Park beginning tomorrow night. 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Astros scoring 7 of their 9 runs today with 2 outs. Sharply hit. Bregman's there. Flips to Altuve, and that'll do it. The Astros win the final game of this road trip. They end up taking 2 of the final 3 games on this trip. Today a 9-4 victory as they split the series in Arizona.
Time now for our player of the game, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Max Stassi making that first start of the 2017 season and doing it in grand fashion. A couple of knocks, catching all 17 of those punch outs, working well with Frankie Tuesday on this afternoon. But he also added a 428-foot bomb to right center field, 108 miles an hour off the bat. Welcome to the ball club, Max Stassi.
Nice job by the Astros catcher, and the Houston Astros will head home after a 2-6 road trip, but finishing better than they started with a 9-4 victory today. Back with more, including the postgame show after this.